All right. My name's Paul. I've got autism and I make random videos about my version of autism anyway and pop them up onto YouTube. And I'm feeling really relaxed today. I'm not sure why because I'm red hot again. This time in this room, the sun just batters through that window and makes me sweat. But no one on earth wants to see me sat here with my top off. It looks like margarine melting with hair all over it. It's disgusting. I wouldn't put my worst enemy through it. But anyway, I'm really relaxed for some really weird reason, so I thought I'd capitalize on it. And the reason I want to capitalize on it is because I've got a few topics I want to discuss, which might be viewed as controversial, but we're all allowed to have those thoughts. But usually, when I'm in my other moods, I'm a bit more headstrong and I'm a bit more in your face. So at least if I'm a bit more chilled, hopefully that'll come across. And unless I fall asleep, that'd be great, wouldn't it? If I just fell asleep halfway through the video and uploaded it because I thought I'd finished. The thing I want to talk about is autistic influencers, if that's even a thing. Um, and what I'll say before I even start my waffle is if you're easily offended, don't watch. If you can't see somebody else's perspective, don't watch. If you believe your opinion is correct, don't watch. If you've got freedom to think outside of your own thought or try to understand someone else's perspective, then by all means, stick around. But if you're not, I've got no interest in, responding to negativity. I'll just delete negative comments, to be honest. So I'm allowed my point of view as well. And there's a true story behind it. It's happening, as we speak. And that's what I want to share with you. So let me give you a little bit of a Paul's history of social media. So I used to have Facebook, and I got rid of that because, and this is not meant to be disrespectful to anyone who might know me, but I doubt they'll ever find this channel, to be honest, because this is our secret. I've not shared it with anyone. Everyone I know is average, including me. Including me, I'm very average. Um, But what I mean is, I don't know anyone who sets the world on fire. I don't know people who volcano walk. I don't know people who skydive, bungee jump, travel the world. I know people who were on the way home on the bus, So that was always the things I would read on Facebook on the way home on the bus. Wonder what to get for me dinner. And that's I don't need to know your boring inner thoughts. And that was pretty much all it was. That and baby pictures, because people are my age, their kids are having kids, and now you're seeing people who are in my school who are grandparents, and to me that is insane because I wouldn't even know what to do with a kid. I struggle wiping my own backside, let alone a baby's for 3 years. So yeah, I got rid of Facebook. I just didn't need it anymore. I was just going on it to pass the time and don't know why, to be honest. And I get it. If you're a small business, it can help drum up your business in the area. If you've got family who live a million miles away, it's an easy place to sort of share stuff. I get it. I know it exists for all right stuff. But for me personally, it didn't do anything for me because I didn't need it. So I got rid of it. I also had Twitter, and I realized that I was feeling more negative, sulky, and bothered coming off Twitter than I was before I went onto it. So whatever I was reading was obviously bringing me down, was annoying me. Watching a certain race of people beat up a single person from another race because it just ended up being the trend. Just disgusting things that shows disgusting humans being disgusting. And I don't need that in my life. So I deleted Twitter. I just thought, this is pointless. Why am I going on here just to get upset? But then that left me with Instagram. And I had an Instagram account which was mine, where I would rarely ever post. And then I made another one, and I made another one kind of for this channel, page, whatever these things are called on YouTube. You can tell I'm still severely uneducated. But the thing is, I think I had an original plan where I was going to link everything. I was going to have an account across everything, and I was going to do this, that, and the other. And then I realized I didn't want to be everyone else. I wanted to be that person who doesn't know what he's talking about, apart from the things that are up in this noodle of mine. And I didn't want to be the guy every video going, if you like this video, guys, please press subscribe, hit the like button, follow me on Twitter, find me on Instagram. I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to have a chat with you. That was it. Um, so my Instagram was just sat doing nothing, and I'd put up random one-liners, like stupid little jokes. Pretty much, I would do the thumbnails for this. I'd just drop my face and throw some words over it because I know it upsets graphic designers because I know that it's terrible stuff, and they're like, "You shouldn't do that. There's better ways of doing it. You can tell you're not right on this." And if people are going to get bothered by very trivial things, then allow me to antagonize. I'm good at that. But what I foolishly did, and didn't think it was foolish at the time, was I decided to follow some people on Instagram who have autistic accounts. Not autistic accounts, accounts for their autism, you know what I mean? And it was a mistake. Simple as that. Because, and obviously, excuse me, I've got a little bit of trap wind up here. I've just had some jacket spuds and tuna. Obviously, having a bit of a repeat. And not everyone with a channel, or a page or whatever, is going to have like a fixed agenda. Of course they're not. But obviously, when I don't know who to look for on Instagram, it's going to bring up people who've got a lot of traction and say, follow this person. So I followed about 6 to 10 groups or pages or whatever they're called on Instagram, just to see what people were saying about autism, see what the flavor was of the month, see, what the debates were about. And what I found is, and I think my autistic channel on Instagram it says the autistic black sheep. And there is no place on earth to feel more like the black sheep of autism when you're me than on Instagram. Because you've got to remember, when I was diagnosed with autism, one of the points the guy said to me was, I have inflexibility of thought. And obviously, I'm not the only person with autism with inflexibility of thought, but I made a conscious effort from that day to not have inflexibility of thought because it's too important to be able to see every angle and then make an educated decision off the information provided. Just like, and people have a go at me about this all the time, but if someone who is a flat earther wants to talk to me and tell me why the earth is flat, and someone else tells me the earth is round and wants to tell me why it's round, I will have them both sit down and explain to me, and I will give them both just as much time because I'm just a random guy. I'll listen to anything. I'm not bothered about that. If I believe the earth is flat or round or a diamond, a square, you know, what difference is it going to make to me in my life? So long as if it is flat, so long as I never have to get to the end and fall off, I'll be all right. But it makes no impact to me. And why would I not listen to people? Why not? So I've made this conscious effort to always try and listen to every angle that there is, and that does me. But a lot of other autistic people might not have that freedom to be able to do that. Their autism might give them a certain lock-in where they only have that linear thinking and that is it. Their way is their way. That is it. They refuse to believe there's another way of doing it. And if that's you, fine. But if you set out on not a crusade, if you set out on a platform, on a social media platform, and I'm not saying this in any sort of negativity whatsoever. I'm saying it as a positive, but I get people contacting me now who are unsure about autism, unsure if they've got it, unsure of a direction to take, not sure. Might just be asking what I would do because I've put myself in a position where my face is out there, my voice is out there, my opinions are out there, my point of view is out there. And some people are just interested to know. And I have my mind blown when someone asks me for advice, especially when I look like I do and sound like I do. It's crazy. But what gets me is some people out there on the internet are putting up their point of view with no space for other points of view. So all I tried to do was give an alternative point of view. So something happens on Instagram which I don't understand, and someone, by all means, please fill me in on this. But they will put words on a picture, and then in the description, they will say what they've done. And I don't understand that. I know you've done that. I can see it. You know, it's not like you put a voice note on there for someone who's blind so they can hear what you did. I can see what you did, so I can read it as well. I really don't know what that is, so please let me know what that is. I'm just interested. But I just thought I would get involved, give another opinion, or try and gain clarification. And what I found is I've had something happen to me which hasn't happened for 30 years. And that is, I've had people aggressively attack me, albeit over a keyboard. You know, these, don't like you know what you're talking about. Keyboard warriors. They're not real people. You can't take that to heart when there's just some fool behind a keyboard having a mad at you, having a sulk. Thanks for someone clarifying my Lancashire words. And I just got savagely attacked by hundreds of people, and so much so that I've been blocked by some people. But all I did was give an alternative point of view. I didn't just go, "You're wrong. Your breath smells, and your mum's a prostitute." I didn't do any of that. It was just, yeah, I see your point, but no one was willing to give their point of view or clarify. It was very, you're either with us or you're against us, and I found it bonkers. So examples are always great. So one of them was, again, I'm not educated on autism and I don't know anything about it apart from having it. But apparently, I mean, and we've hopefully all seen the picture of the jigsaw piece on a jigsaw that's just out of place ever so slightly. And that was what autism became known for, was, and I do I do fit in with that. I understand what it means. I get it. That's how I feel. All the pieces of jigsaw is life, people, work, living, just existing, your surroundings, everything you do. But then as someone with autism, you are just out of place. You don't feel like you fit in with the rest of it. I get it. I can interpret that. That makes sense to me. But then I stumbled upon this page, and apparently that's not what autism is represented by now. It is represented by a infinity symbol that's rainbow coloured, which I don't get. So I had a little bit of a read of the comments, try and get that education that we look for. And the way that people who had started the page, or it was their page, or they were friends of that page, the way they wrote was very, again, if you're not with us, you're against us. It was, we identify with this symbol now. We don't identify with the jigsaw piece because that's represented by a hate autism company. And I don't get involved in politics. It's just a picture. But it was the very, we identify with this. We autistic people are one. We identify with it. And I thought, hang on a minute, Jackie, I'm not feeling that. I don't like people telling me what I should do. That's what my mind's for. I'll figure it out. So I just very calmly wrote on there saying, "Hi everyone. Um, I understand the jigsaw piece. I've got to be honest with you. I don't get the infinity symbol. I don't know what that means. And the rainbow color, I associate rainbow colors with the LGBTQ, whatever the rest of the letters are these days, community. Like when Pride's on, there's always the rainbow flags everywhere. And I don't know what that's got to do with autism." Boo. Instead of someone just sending a message going, "Hi, Paul. This is represented with a hate company. Please go to this website to read more information if you wish to educate yourself. The infinity symbol with rainbow colors is to say that we accept everyone, and the infinity is for whatever." I don't know. I still didn't get an answer. But instead, I got absolutely battered. I got pinned against the wall, people punching me in the junk, and that was, and it was sort of like, whoa, slow your roll, calm down. I've got no idea what you're shouting about. Um, and no one kind of gave me an explanation. They were just quick to attack. And it's that new age version of attacking where people think that if they just write back with big words, words you would never use in your daily life, they think that's what wins you arguments. No, it doesn't. A clear point with evidence wins you an argument. And then to be honest, do you even need to argue? I was asking a question, you twerp. But yeah, I just get absolutely annihilated for it. Well, if you can't understand that, maybe you shouldn't be part of this. It's like, whoa, all right, I won't be then. And then I stumbled upon something else. And it was all to do with the words high functioning autism. And the way this person had put this post up, it was very aggressive. And be honest, be honest. Up until the last couple of years, or even this year, when did you hear the word ableism? When did you hear it that it was at the forefront of every decision you ever make in your entire existence? I didn't. I never heard it until I started getting attacked on Twitter. So the way it came across was very rude on this post, and I don't care, do what you want. But it was sort of very rude, so I answered in the way that this person had put it up with the alternative approach. And this young person got in touch very aggressively again, sort of saying, why is it so important to me that I identify as high functioning autism? Because what I'm doing as an ableist is keeping everyone down where only I benefit. Now, I didn't know what that meant. I had to Google ableism because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. And I don't think I needed to know what it was, because when I read it, it just summed up 2021 in a way. And it was kind of like, whatever you say, whatever you do, people are just out there to expect that you had in your brain at the time that you were purposely being vindictive against the opposite of what you're doing. You give me far too much credit. That's not what I do. So, I'm barely conscious half the day. So, how do you expect me to understand things as well? I don't. It's not what I'm doing. So, if I refer to myself as high functioning autistic, there's a reason. And the reason is I'm using that in a work setting. I'm already employed, I'm already there, I'm already doing the job. But if something's going to get just that little bit tricky, where I have to say, look, if I say something rude, I'm not being rude. I don't mean to overstep any. But so basically, when politics gets involved, I have to reveal, my superpower. And the easiest way for people to understand, especially of my age or older, the easiest and quickest way to get that point across is to just say, I have high functioning autism. And they go, all right. When you just give it that blanket, I'm autistic, they don't know how to take you. I was at the doctor's not long ago, and the doctor talked to the person who was with me when they found out I was autistic. They just instantly thought I didn't have the capability to understand this person talking one on one with me, and they just bypassed me and started talking to the other person. And that felt rude, you know. But if this person had found out I was high functioning, then maybe they'd have spoke to me. So I'm only ever doing it in a workplace setting where I'm just after the quickest way of moving on. But they still need to know that I have autism. But this page, blimey, they were like, they were going on that they think that I have in my head when I say it. They think I'm believing I'm better than people who can't function the way I do. I'm sorry. Again, you give me too much credit. That's not at all. I'm thinking of me. Yeah, of course I am. In that moment where I'm after the easiest pass with not having to get too personal over something that's to do with work. If it was in my personal life, people don't need to know I'm autistic. I don't get close to people enough for them to find out. But to insinuate that I'm doing it, putting other people who might need 24/7 care, that I'm putting them down, that I'm keeping them down. No. What you don't realize, people out there who are of this ilk, is if you just remove other terms, you make it harder for people to get help. You make it harder for people to reach out, and like, put it this way, you know, in England, blue badge, disabled badge holders, I'm entitled to one because I have a mental condition. But I'm not going to take a blue badge space for me. 9 times out of 10, I park right at the back of the car park and walk to the shop. Anyway, because I don't want my car getting hit, even though it's just a crappy one. But I'm not going to take up that badge. And if if someone was to send something just over paper form and it was autistic, needs blue badge, I'd get one. You know what I mean? And there might be people out there, wheelchair bound, 24-hour care, and I'm parked in their space because I'm a selfish person with autism. You know, Whereas if you can remove me getting a blue badge, I don't care. I don't need one. I'll just be taking the mick if I get one. That person needs one. But if I have the capacity to get a badge as easy as they do, then I'll take their space, won't I? And that's not fair. So when people talk about fairness because they're using, ableism and all these other words and trying to make a point across the internet, get away from your keyboard, get outside and see how it actually makes a difference. And I could give you 1,000 examples how making something a blanket and generic thing ruins things and not improves them. Fire's one of them. When you look on the back of a deodorant can and you see the symbol for highly flammable? In England, we used to have a number that went with that. So, tankers on the motorway, if they were transporting chemicals and the tanker went over, you would know as the fire service how volatile and dangerous that chemical was. Because, yeah, flammable ratings matter, enrichment environments matter. But when we remove the number, now you don't know. So now you have to go from the worst case scenario response with your perimeters when it might not even warrant that. You just might need to coat the tanker in a bit of foam and jobs are good because it can't now mix with the environment because you've damaged the enrichment. So removing something to make it blanket actually made it more dangerous. And I think removing terms, and I'm not saying high functioning is the term, but find terms. Chihuahuas and St. Bernards are both dogs. Are they though? They both might bark, they both might scratch behind their ear, but one of them's a beast of a dog that you would crap your pants if it came bounding towards you. And the other one, people put them in dresses and paint their nails and push them around in prams. Imagine trying to do that to a St. Bernard. I'd like to see someone try and do it to a St. Bernard, I've got to admit. But, come on. I'm not doing anything wrong by making sure I'm all right when I'm not doing it to the detriment of others. I'm just doing it to get an easy pass of what I'm currently doing, which is fine because people who need 24-hour care are not in my workplace doing my job. So I'm not belittling anyone. And I just think if you're always trying to find that little snippet of something, it's a bit dangerous. But what I'm trying to get at is with these examples and hopefully trying to make my little point is if you're autistic and you're trying to change the world with just your perspective and making everyone feel like they're wrong just for having an alternative opinion, are you sure you're doing the right thing? I'm giving my perspective. I could be wrong, and that is fine with me. What I've said isn't going to impact the world. I'm not changing anything. But I just don't see the areas people focus on as being utterly unfair. Like if you watch people like the Aspie World, Dan, I think his name is, he's always nice. He's always testing different things, having different people on his channel. You watch Kevin Chapman when he's talking about his son, always trying different, he's got his methods, he knows what he's doing. And he'll film the good, he'll film the bad, he'll talk about the good, he'll talk about the bad, but he's giving different perspectives. And that's the point of autism. If we just get drilled down a certain route, and that's what we give the world of who we are, then no wonder perspectives get warped, because where else are they going to make judgments if we're just pigeonholed by the way we come at it? And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's nice. You know, perfect example for you is, if you are an autistic influencer, which the word again still makes me laugh, influencer, and you've only got your point of view, and you get deeply offended and go on the attack if someone dares challenge that. Look in history. When has that ever helped anyone? Nazis. It hasn't. So why is it going to help you? I started this channel for one reason, and it's still the reason. And that is, if just one person watches any of the videos and it helps them 1% more than before they watch that video, I've done it. That's what I did it for, because I couldn't find anyone to talk to me the way I'm trying to talk, because I've got a terrible memory. I might watch these back in a year and it'll be like watching someone I've never met before giving me advice I've never thought of, or a point of view I didn't consider. And that's genuine. I will probably watch these back at some point and be amazed that I even had the guts to turn a camera on, because who knows how I'm going to feel in a year's time. I mean, I'd like to keep them up, but I run out of topics. I've got to admit I do. But I'm not after anything. I'm not trying to change the world. If someone hates me, that's your problem, not mine. You're the one with hate in your heart. I'm eating biscuits and drinking that green Coke stuff, and I'm not bothered, as long as you don't try and attack me, because, then I'll crack the nunchucks out. But, sitting behind a keyboard, attacking people, and I'm thick skinned and I laughed at it, but it still made me feel a bit, ugh, why are they doing this? And I think I mentioned it at the beginning. Some people who do get in touch with me, it's always coming from a point of, I'm thinking of starting a channel. I'm not too sure, but your video has kind of shown me that you don't have to do it a certain way. And I appreciate that. And I'll do nothing but offer encouragement. Jason started a video channel, and great. It doesn't have to be all singing, dancing, lights everywhere. You don't have to be the greatest presenter. I just want to talk to people. And when you've got these channels, these pages, when you might just be unsure, confused, after a little bit of clarification, these are the people who should reach out, should be able to ask a question, should feel like it's a safe environment to just raise something which could be viewed as controversial, but you've got to have an answer for it. And by having this singular narrative where you shoot someone down just for being different or having an alternative mindset to you, it pushes people further back in the box, makes them feel bullied, makes them feel like they shouldn't ever reach out again, and they've just got to live on the periphery. And what does that sound like? That sounds like how it feels to be autistic with neurotypical people. And autistic people should understand that feeling and know that it's horrible, and know that you've got to try twice as hard to get where you need to be just to get by sometimes, when you've got to fight those demons. And the last thing we need, and the last thing I need, is hate of someone else with autism just because I don't fit their narrative. I'm not after putting people down. I'm not after trying to change the world. But if I want a little bit of clarification, common courtesy, respect, the things that people are expecting other people to give should also be given. Respect is not given, it is earned. If I ask you a question from a blank canvas and you give me a nice answer, or even just an honest answer, even if it's not what I want to hear, but it's accurate, you'll get the respect. But just shouting at me and being a keyboard warrior is going to do nothing for no one. And what you think you're trying to achieve, you'll never get there. So cheer up. Anyway, that's my thoughts on autistic influencers. I'm not one of them, clearly. So thanks for watching. And until next time, keep smiling.